Blog Talk Radio.
You know what time it is. Time to hang out with Mr. Coop. With Mr. Coop I, with Mr. Coop I, with Mr. Coop I. Get the latest scoop. From Mr. Coop I, from Mr. Coop I, from Mr. Coop I. Mr. Coop. With Mr. Coop I, with Mr. Coop I, with Mr. Coop I. Get the latest scoop. From Mr. Coop I, from Mr. Coop I.
All right.
Welcome to the Big Scoop with Coop. I'm your host, Coop. And today, guys, is Season 2, the finale of Season 2 of my show right here. Season 3 will be starting in March. But, guys, how I'm actually doing this show today, we're actually ending it with a bang, guys. This guy I have on the show today, he's actually done big things. I mean, from music, television, movies. We're going to talk about all of that. Guys, you all seen him in big name titles, and I mean, he's actually great at what he does. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Sam Quinn. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, Coop.
Hey, all right. How you been doing today?
Great, man. Just enjoying the warm Los Angeles weather right now.
Oh, man, lucky you. I'm in North Carolina. We just had some crazy weather from snow to ice, hurricanes, tornadoes actually been through all in 1 month, guys. So,
I
Sam,
feel you, man.
Yeah, lucky you're in California. Stay in the warm weather. But
just
Sam,
for another day, then I go back to New Mexico. It's kind of chilly there right now, so I'll be in your shoes in a second.
I feel you on that one. Now, Sam, on this show, just to let you know, we always talk about how you started in your career, your success, give advice on actually how to get started in your career, and way more. So, Sam, we're going to start from the beginning on this thing. So, when did you realize that you was actually interested in acting?
I think there were a few defining times in my life where I took interest. The first was probably a circus camp that I was involved with. Just by chance as a kid. I was about 10 years old, and my mom was an art teacher, and she was working at this performing arts circus camp one summer, and one of the perks for her was that she got an extra sort of pass for me to attend, and it was I want to say it was 2 or 3 week long camp where I learned how to juggle and unicycle and walk on stilts and do a lot of those kind of circus arts. And so that was kind of the first time when it even struck me that people do that kind of thing for a living. and I thought, hey, what better way to, at least try to make a living than to kind of, go run off to a circus camp. So that was kind of what put the idea in my brain. And then a few years later, she had enrolled me my mom had enrolled me in a theater camp after school to kind of reach out. I was going to kind of a tougher middle school and just was sort of unhappy with it. And so she reached out and enrolled me in these classes, and I took a liking to it and sort of fell for it. And then that led to me going to a performing arts high school that it was like sort of like that movie Fame or something like that, where you audition to get in, and then it's a lot of song and dance there. But there were music majors, dancers, theater majors, visual art majors, and just a big old melting pot of young artists. And so that's when I really kind of decided I think I'm going to pursue this as a career.
Wow. Now, when you was actually younger, when you was actually, juggling and everything, to this day, do you feel like you still can do it? If you have something in your hand right now.
I can juggle to this day. I can probably walk on stilts. I haven't walked on stilts since high school, but I was able to pick that up again. It's, the biggest thing with stilts is that when I did it when I was 10, I was considerably shorter. And it's much easier to walk on stilts, I've found, when you're 5'9" as opposed to 6'1".
So
and
true.
it's less terrifying also because you're just further away from the ground now. So I haven't done it in a while, but I did do it in high school, or in college rather, and I could still pick that up. Unicycling, I haven't done in a while. I tried recently, and I really bit the dust.
Ooh.
So I think that I would need a good day with a unicycle, and then I think I could be back on it. You'd think that it would be like riding a bike.
That's
just
what I
pick
thought.
it up again, but it's different if it's a bike with one wheel, I guess.
Wow. I've never tried unicycling. I always wondered how did it actually work. I was thinking it was like riding a bike, but how you're saying you haven't done it since college, and you tried it lately, and it didn't work too well for you. I see. You have to have a true skill, and I guess you have to keep practicing on it.
Yeah. Well, it's just because it's like the balance game. I recently tried one of those hoverboard things, the two-wheel self-balancing board that everyone's riding on. And, it took me a little while, like an hour or so to kind of get it down, but it's really just about finding the balance so you don't eat it. And I think unicycling is probably pretty similar to that. You just kind of have to figure out the balancing game. I think I could do it, though. If you gave me a unicycle in an hour, I think I could pick it up again.
Wow. All right. If you ever do it, I want you to videotape it because I want to see it. I definitely do.
I will.
All right. Now, let's fast forward in your career a little bit. Now, you did all of that. You actually went through a performing arts school, and we see that you made it in because big things have happened for you. Now, in the movie industry, who did you actually look up to, or who helped motivate you in your movie career?
Well, so I only got into film and TV acting a few years ago. So I've been mainly doing stage theater. I moved to Chicago for a while and did stage theater. I didn't really have a whole lot of, I guess, wasn't say desire, but I wasn't following the dream of being like a movie star or anything like that. I had heroes. I had my favorite actors. But I did have a mentor in Chicago. He's a veteran actor who's been he's one of those guys that you just see, recognize his face. He's been in everything. You might not know his name, but his name is Chelsea Ross. And he was an actor that I looked up to as a kid because I loved the movie Major League. And he was in Major League 1 and Major League 2. And he was kind of the hillbilly hick pitcher that spits on the ball, before he pitches.
I remember him.
Yeah. So that's Chelsea Ross, right? So, and he was a friend of my mom's friend, and we ended up meeting together a few times in Chicago. And he just gave me a lot of great advice, very practical advice for a working actor, because you wouldn't call him like a superstar. He's not Johnny Depp. But he makes a living. He makes a good living, and he was been working consistently for the last 40 years as an actor. And so I looked up to him a lot. I listened to his advice. He sort of was an inspiration. He just kind of told me to keep on trucking. And
that's good.
It's a very sort of real, influential person for me. Not like a big movie star, but
right.
Yeah, does that answer the question, kind of?
Yeah, it does. I mean, that's actually good. You don't have to have a major movie star to actually motivate you because, I mean, you have somebody that's actually been in the game before and they're actually doing their thing and they're actually giving you advice on what to do. That's a great thing. I mean, it's someone actually helping you out. So you can't complain about that.
You know what? You're breaking up just a little bit here. Let's see. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay,
can you hear me now?
Go. Now you're back.
Oh, okay. I heard the ambulance in the background, the police cars. So, yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, you're all right. That's cool. But what I was saying was you don't have to have a major movie star to actually look up to. Someone that's actually been in the game, been in the business, done something, they can give you just as great as advice as someone
absolutely
had a big name. So, yeah, that's cool right there. You got somebody to actually help you out to get where you're at. So, but Sam, here's one thing I want to know also. We know now. You said that you actually started with stage play, and then you went to the film. So, is there a big difference acting wise compared to stage play to actually being on film? Is there a big difference?
I have found that there is a huge difference. At the core of it, I guess it's the same. It's the craft of acting and becoming another character, person, bringing dialogue to life, all of that. But on a technical level, it is a totally different ball game, and one that I was not that familiar with until I was thrown right into it. The biggest differences are in a play. You have a through line, the beginning of the story all the way to the end, and you are acting out the character's story from start to finish, which seems way easier. It's like the easier thing to do is what happens if something happens to the character, and then you see the result of that, and you feel those emotions of what's just happened. It just seems like an easier way to do it, and I think it is and it isn't in some ways, because you have to know that script back and forth. You can have no question about what's going to happen next. You need to know. You need to know your lines. You need to know your partner's lines as well, pretty
That's
much,
true.
so that you can, respond at the right time and so forth. And with film, and also on stage, generally, there are storefront theaters. The sort of smaller theaters that I performed a lot in Chicago, where it's a more intimate audience. But a lot of the time, you're just on these huge stages with a huge audience. You have to project more than you need to. You have to be louder. Your expressions need to be larger than they might normally be in if you're in a living room, you really have to, the audience has to hear you, So, but then on film, it's just on a much, 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 much smaller level, because there's a camera right in your face. They're seeing every tiny little move. So all of the acting has to be much more subtle, which is fun. I think it's great. You sort of can do some really nuanced stuff, a little bit more natural even, I think, in film. And the other strange thing about film is rarely ever you will rarely ever film from start to finish as far as scene-wise goes in succession. You'll always be jumping around. So you may have, the first thing you could be, if you're filming a story about a man who is out on the sea and, gets attacked by a shark, the first thing that you could be filming is you about getting attacked by a shark, that high-stakes scene, and you have no idea. You know what happened before because you've read the script, but you haven't acted any of that yet. So you kind of have to really do all that pre-research to figure out where that character is at that point, and make sure that it still builds throughout the story, so that the continuity of the character and the character arc is still there. So it's really a challenge to do that, to jump around sometimes. But the nice thing is that because you're taking it scene by scene, and you'll say do at the most a 30 maybe 2 minute long scene, and then you get to stop. So you have more time to kind of focus on that one scene and then move on, and if you need to memorize the next scene, or there's just more stop and go. So it's just a different process, but at the core of it, I guess it's the same. It's becoming another character. It's finding all those connections there. But yeah, it's pretty weird. I guess a lot of people don't realize that, but it is pretty strange how different it is.
And I've actually done both also, and I know exactly, I can relate to what you're saying. I've done stage plays before, and I've been in 2 shorts or 2 movies getting ready for the third, but I know exactly what you're saying, because when you're playing that character and you're on stage, you're right, you're playing that character from beginning, middle, end, and whoever you're working with, you're right, you're interacting with the person, and you're actually live, you're doing it right then and there, and like you said, on film, everyone, the camera's catching everything you do. So, one scene, it could take forever to shoot that bad boy. But compared to being on stage, when lights, camera, action, when it's time to go, you got your lines. You know what you're supposed to do. And, it goes smoothly up there. And I've personally seen you, Sam. I've seen what you've done. We will talk about those movies in a second and everything. We will talk about all of that in a second. From Transcendence all the way down. I mean, you're good. You're really good at what you do, and I want to commend you on that, Sam. I definitely got to commend you.
Thank you.
Yes. Now, here's a hypothetical question. Let's say Hollywood called you up right now, and they said, Sam, I don't care what it is, television or movie. I want you to actually choose what type that you want to do right now, like horror, comedy, action, suspense, drama. What would you choose? What would be your favorite, I guess you could say, genre of a movie or a TV show?
Right. Well, I think I would probably actually, the TV is so good right now, right? So there's so much good TV out there. I think I would actually go for some drama series, maybe a drama thriller in TV. Because TV, I really like TV because you have more than just 2 hours to develop a character and to really explore that character and make it a three-dimensional human that people can really relate to, and you can see the foibles. Sometimes that's hard in film to fully explore that. So I think I would do, like a dramatic thriller type in TV, so I could really dig my teeth into the character.
Nice. And I believe people that's actually been on stage, they can relate more to that because, with drama, you have to put that extra oomph into it sometimes and to get into your part. So I think I can see you doing that, Sam. I really could. You would be perfect for that.
Hopefully I'll get that shot.
Yes, Hollywood, if you're listening right now, hey, Sam Quinn, he already said what he's going to do. I mean, hey, give it to him. I'd love to see it. I believe the world would love to see it. Please give it to him. Let him do it. Now, Sam, talking about television and talking about movies and, good things on television, do you feel that the movie and the television industry have changed drastically within the last 20 years?
I was thinking about this the other day, and I'm definitely not an expert on the topic because, like I said, I've only really been in the film and TV industry for the last 3 years or so. But from my perspective, I see it in a couple of different angles. One, I think that TV over the last 20 years, you said 20 years, right?
Yes.
So over the last 20 years, I think TV has really hit a golden age and is becoming far more respected of an art form, sort of medium, than film. Film is still great, but it's just really stepped up the notch for TV, and I think largely a lot of that has to do with the amount of talent, the quality of the scripts, people using more writing rooms, teams of writers as opposed to just one or two. Another way that I think things have changed that I've noticed, so I work a lot out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, which has a pretty vibrant film market and TV market right now. And I've noticed that TV and film are shooting more and more and more on location as opposed to in Hollywood.
Right.
And it's very nomadic almost. It's like a traveling, theater troupe from the beginning of last century or something that was common. And I feel like the same thing, and it's largely due to, incentives, tax incentives for these production companies. They can shoot for cheaper out there. But it's really great because it's giving an opportunity for those local actors to perform, and not necessarily if they have a life, if they have a family and they don't want to move to LA or New York or wherever, they can still be a part of Hollywood in a certain sense.
That's
also,
true.
it's providing an opportunity for actors to move to one of those smaller markets and have access and hopefully kind of use it as a launching pad to get some work under their belt, to get some set experience, and to get, their SAG card or whatever their goals may be.
Right.
And I hope that it just continues, because I think it's really great for the country. It's been great for the Albuquerque economy and the New Mexico economy, having all this filming going on. So I think it's only a positive thing, that Hollywood will always be the birthplace and the home for it. But I don't know, it's exciting. Those are the main changes that I've noticed, If that makes sense. Did I cover some area there?
Hey, that was perfect, because I was also thinking, I'm not the biggest expert neither, and I was thinking back 20 years, even before, even beyond 20 years. Like, I remember, like, the Saturday morning sitcoms, like Saved by the Bell, California Dreams, shows like that, and it's like those type of shows have disappeared, and more of reality shows have came in. And also a lot of action-packed shows that came in that I'm actually a big fan of, and you was actually in one of them that we're going to talk about in a minute also. And, it's like those shows have came in, but I kind of miss some of the old school shows, even though they still come on television if you catch them. But I can tell also that it have changed also. But I'm not saying it changed for the worse. It have changed. Some has changed for the good. And then there's some shows I'm just scratching my head at, like, did that really come out? But, it's really each his own. But, like, for example, I'm going to bring this up now. You was actually in a show, Better Call Saul. And that show actually has my attention. And I have to ask, how did it feel to actually be on that show?
It was great, and that's a great example because, everyone, I think, hopped on board with Better Call Saul because of Breaking Bad, how great that show was. And that's like a prime example of, the quality of TV that's being made right now. And that whole show, pretty much the entirety of it, was filmed in New Mexico, actually on location. So it was awesome. I was actually, I moved away from New Mexico for a while, but I got into that show while I was in Chicago, and I was delighted to that it was part of, now part of New Mexican culture, that everyone would associate Breaking Bad with Albuquerque. I didn't think it was a bad thing. Some people felt differently. They felt like it showcased Albuquerque as, this meth haven, but I don't think it did personally. That was just like one angle of the city. But so when I got the opportunity to do Better Call Saul, obviously I was super delighted, because I was a huge fan of Breaking Bad, of Vince Gilligan, and a longtime fan of Bob Odenkirk from his work on Mr. Show. Yeah. Also a great HBO show that ended too early, but
so true.
So it was, it was great. I was only there for a day, but I had a little interaction with Bob Odenkirk, which just made my day.
It would make mine too.
You couldn't, I couldn't ask for anything more. It's sort of like I kind of felt like I met one of my comedy heroes that day. So it was special for sure.
Of course. Big shout-outs to everyone that's actually in Better Call Saul. If you ever been on the show, if you're still on the show, and all the fans, make sure if you haven't seen this show, find it, watch it. This is something that you can actually get hooked up on by watching it. You can get addicted to it. This is a great show. Now, Sam,
the new season just started.
That's right. When did it actually start? Was it like a couple?
The new season, the season 2 just started, I think, February 15th, I believe.
That's right. Okay. Everybody, season 2, Better Call Saul, make sure you go watch that show. Big shout-outs to everyone on that show. So make sure you watch it. Let me know what you think about it. If you ever run into Sam, let him know what you think about it also. You know, he was on the show. He's part of history on that show. So great thing. Now, Sam, there's a movie that you're actually in that's coming out actually about Lionsgate. And it's the new Western movie, Jane Got a Gun. Would you like to tell everybody that's listening right now about that movie?
Sure, yeah. Jane Got a Gun is pretty straightforward romance Western. It has action for people who like action. It has romance for people who like that. So it really covers a lot of bases through that. It's the general story is Jane Hammond, played by Natalie Portman, is in dire straits. She's trying to protect her dying husband, who's just been shot up full of bullets, and her daughter from a gang of outlaws called the Bishop Boys, who are coming after her husband in her house. So she needs to figure out a way how to protect them. And to do so, she seeks out the help of an old ex-lover that's played by Joel Edgerton. And you know, it's old love is ignited, and they have to protect this house, and there's action. It's fun. I really enjoy the movie, and I think other people will too. That's the basic gist.
Okay. And how did you actually get turned on to Jane Got a Gun?
It was just a normal audition situation. It was my first big feature, though, so that was exciting. I auditioned for the original director, Lynn Ramsey, and then had another callback, and got the part, and I was just, as you can imagine, totally ecstatic. My first big part, and I knew that I was going to be working with, Natalie Portman and Ewan McGregor and all these great actors. I was, totally beside myself. And the character that I am playing is called Slow Jeremiah. He's part of the Bishop Boys gang, which is, like I said, led by Ewan McGregor. So he's kind of one of his lackeys, one of his henchmen, just generally bad dude. He's pretty distinctive in the film. If you don't know what I look like, you'll definitely know what he looks like, because he has Slow Jeremiah has a big tattoo on half of his face, and just the grossest looking teeth you could ever imagine. Apparently, funny story about that, I was recently talking to one of the producers, and apparently there was a rumor going around on set while we were filming that my dad was a dentist. Somehow, because the makeup artist made my teeth look so gnarly, just gross, like caked on, and I loved that.
Gosh.
I thought it was great. But somehow a little legend came about that my dad was a dentist, and I just want to put the record straight. He is not a dentist.
Everybody that's listening live right now, you heard him. He is not a dentist. That was a rumor. I've actually heard about that too, Sam. I wanted to ask you about that. I did, but I'm glad you threw that out there. I've heard about that. Guys, it's not true. It's all rumor, okay? So make sure you guys watch Jane Got a Gun. That is a movie that's going to actually be worth watching. Like Sam said, it's the best of both worlds. You got your action, you got your drama, you got everything in there that's going to actually make for a great movie. So make sure you go see that, guys. And when you go see it, give a big shout-out to Sam. If you see Sam in Cali or you see him in New Mexico, make sure, guys, you stop him, let him know what you thought about the movie, because, trust me, it's going to be nothing but good things that can be said about this movie. Sam in it, Lionsgate doing this thing on it, so everybody check out the movie, most definitely. Now, when you're not in front of a camera, what do you do in your spare time?
Let's see. Besides auditioning, I play in two bands. I write the music and sing and play guitar for two bands that are based out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. One is sort of like a alternative rock band. The other one's a little bit on the funkier side. It's like a funk rock trio, pretty dancey music.
Cool.
And those bands are, the alternative rock one is called, actually named after my character in Jane Got a Gun. It's called Slow Jeremiah. And the other band is called Virtual Friday. And both of those ones, if anyone's interested, you can check them out on Facebook or Bandcamp. But I also perform weekly in a comedy troupe that does sketch comedy. We're right now working on an improv show that people who like film and improv and comedy will like. We're taking on the task of improvising a 40-minute movie plot, basically. So we get a genre from the audience and a title for the movie, and then we just go for it for about 40, 45 minutes and make a movie from it and hope that it's funny.
Nice.
But those are the big things. I write sometimes in my in my free time, but those are the big ones.
That's cool. That's really cool, and that's what I want to talk about next was basically you and music, because I knew already that you was doing music, and I knew you was actually doing stage and doing movie. But on your music side, who influenced you to start in your music career? And I'm calling it a career.
My friends did. It wasn't like a big. It's the sort of same thing with acting. It wasn't a one particular musician or anything like that. Or my family are artists, but they're not on the music side of things. So at the Performing Arts High School that I went to, I had quite a few friends who were guitar players or bass players, and it was one of those things where it's pretty classic. Someone says, "Hey, man, you should learn how to play." I had a guitar. I had an electric guitar, and he's like, "You should learn how to play this guitar, and we can start a band." and it was enough because a lot of my friends were more serious into music than I was at that time, so I kind of, I was behind them. I needed to catch up. So, but that's really kind of when I got interest. Sort of, this would be a fun thing to do, play at parties and, whatever, fun thing to do on the weekends. Nice. And so that's pretty much how it all started. There's one friend in particular, his name's Cole B. Wilson, who's an amazing songwriter, and he lives in between Austin, Texas and Santa Fe, New Mexico. And he's probably the first one that really got me off my butt and said, learn how to play this guitar, and then we had been in several bands together. That's probably the biggest one of my buddies.
That's cool. What type of guitar was it? Was it like a bass or electric or?
That guitar, so my mom actually got me this. I did take a few lessons before high school, and I bought the guitar of my guitar teacher. He gave us a deal, and it was this this Dan electric guitar with turquoise sparkles. It was crazy. It was like the color turquoise. And then like a sparkle sheen. So it looked very Buddy Holly, kind of 1950s era. Okay. And I loved it for a while. I don't have that one anymore. I eventually sold it. But I know. It grieved a little bit, but there was another instrument or another thing that I wanted musically, and I told myself, "You're not using this, so sell it." And I bought the amp that I wanted.
Nice. Okay, well, that's retribution right there. I mean, even trade. Do you miss that guitar?
Mm-hmm. I miss it for the sentimental value. It had some issues that I just never got around to working on and sorting out. So it's mainly just the sentimental value.
Got you. Now, as far as it goes for music, I understand. You're playing rock. You got the one with actually funk mixed into it. What is your favorite genre of music out of all types of music?
Man, that's such a hard question because I love everything. Yep. But at the end of the day, it's rock and roll. It's
okay.
Love like really raw rock. heavy stuff. It makes your bones shake a little bit, but also has a little blues influence, so you can maybe even dance to it.
Nice.
That's the stuff that I feel like drives me.
Okay, and Sam, tell everybody again where they can actually find your music if they want to hear it. Tell them again where they can find it.
Sure, yeah. So both of my bands have Facebook pages. The first band, like I said, was Slow Jeremiah. That's more of rock and roll, alternative rock. And the other one, Virtual Friday, is also on Facebook. And there are links on there to go to actually buy music if you want it. Slow Jeremiah just released our first EP this past Halloween. So we have music also on the website that's called Bandcamp.
Okay.
So you can find us on there if you search, or like I said, just go to the Facebook page and it'll direct you that way.
Now, for all your fans that's listening right now, Sam, how can they actually find you or follow you on social media? What is the best way for them to keep up with you?
I have an actor Facebook page. That's an option, Sam Quinn. Mm-hmm. I am on Twitter as my name is. You can either find me as Sam Quinn or Good Tonic Sam, GOODTONIC Sam, and I'm on Instagram as well, also Good Tonic Sam. Or you can probably find me by searching my name. Those are the big ones. Am I missing any? I think those are the main ones that I use.
Okay. Now, all your
I have a website, too, you can find, but, yeah, it's all linked together.
Okay. You want to give out the website?
If you go to the Facebook page, it'll direct you right there. It's all the same information pretty much.
Got you. All you fans out there, make sure you go look for this. Follow him. Twitter, check out his Facebook page, guys, IG, all of it. Make sure you jump on it, guys, because, like I said, Sam is a force to be reckoned with. This guy is actually doing music, television, movies. I'm telling you, he is going to be the next big thing. I'm actually putting my money on this. Sam, I'm a fan, man. I'm glad what you're actually doing. You've actually started, like you said, from stage play, and look where you're at now. And Sam, do you want to tell some of the people out there that's just getting to know you right now, or that actually knows you well, what movies and television shows have you appeared in? Can you name some of them for
me?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. I'll rattle off a little list. TV-wise, as you said, I was in Better Call Saul. There's a medical drama called The Night Shift that I was in the first season of. That's still on. The TV show Longmire, had a part in, I think it was the second season of that. That one's still going as well. The TV show The Messengers, which was CW, that one's no longer on, but you can stream it on Hulu. Let's see if I'm missing anything else. There's movie-wise, I was in the film Transcendence. Johnny Depp and Morgan Freeman, Kate Mara was in that also. And most recently, Jane Got a Gun.
Yeah.
That just came out, and then this spring you can catch me on a TV show called Grave. That's on the FX network, and Nick Nolte's in that. It looks like it's going to be really funny and fun. And also this summer, I have a small part in the new Independence Day movie, which I think everyone is looking forward to.
Of course. Most definitely. I mean, like I said, you've done a lot, Sam, and I mean, I can't stop saying that. You've really done a lot. Believe it or not, you said you only started a few years ago, but look where you're at now, man. You've actually doing things that a lot of people would love to do right now. So you actually have a truly blessed life, and I mean, that's great. I'm gonna make sure that I do catch all of this. I mean, even down to Independence Day, I'm psyched about that movie. So I'm ready to see what this is gonna be all about. Yes. Mm-hmm. Now, what is your ultimate goal in acting and in music?
So I'm going to mention Chelsea Ross again, the actor the veteran actor who was kind of my mentor for a little while and gave me some advice. And I think he has like a great type of career. He's a working character actor doing some larger parts, a lot of smaller parts, but he just consistently works. He does a lot of variety every year. He's doing a bunch of projects. He has something like 250 credits on his IMDb, something crazy like that. But he's working all the time, and I just want at least aspire to do that. I just want to be consistently working. I want to be able to make my living as solely as an actor. On a slightly larger level than that, I think Gary Oldman probably has the ideal career for me. He does get some even larger, big, chunky parts, really meaty stuff that he can sink his teeth into. But it's the same idea. And music-wise, as long as I have music in my life, I think I'll be happy. If something happens with it, I would be delighted to, take it to another level. But right now, it's a really nice sort of cathartic outlet that is other than acting for me to do. It's a creative outlet, and it's a way for me to distract my energy, because sometimes acting and the business in general, all the auditions and stuff can get a little stressful. So it's a really nice release. So I think as long as I have that somewhere in my life, I'd be happy. And if it goes elsewhere, the larger places, then awesome.
Well, Sam, get ready to pack your bags, because I believe it's going larger places. I mean, as far as it goes for music and acting for you, because like I said, you have that it factor, and I really do believe big things are actually coming your way. So it's already shown in the movie industry, your music. I mean, hey, you just dropped your first EP. Everything is actually happening for you, man. So the sky's the limit. No, I'm not going to even say that. I mean, you can go beyond the sky, man. You're doing great things. I want you to continue to do what you do. So I'm very happy for you.
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, what advice for all the people that's listening out there right now that wants to become an actor or actress or want to get into the music industry? What advice would you give any male or female that's trying to go that route?
Sure. I have a few little bits, take them or leave them, but I mentioned again the actor Chelsea Ross. Something that he just told me when I was a young actor in Chicago. I was just out of college, and I was there, and I was just trying to make my way in the scene and get my feet wet. And it can be really difficult and overwhelming because there's so many people trying to do the same thing. But he said something that I love, which is, you just keep trying. Perseverance pays off in the end, and you hit a brick wall in the same spot enough over and over and over and over again, that spot's going to break. As long as you're focused and you're driven and you persevere and find other things that you like to do other than acting as well, so that you're not fully consumed by that. Start a blog or a podcast or a band or write, anything else, so that you're not fully absorbed. You have some other outlet, I think is huge. And as far as technically goes, I think that actors, before they go into auditions, should film their auditions and make sure that they watch themselves, so that they really know you should be able to know everything about yourself. And a lot of actors don't ever want to watch their performances, and sometimes it doesn't work. But for me, it works, because I can see I can kind of direct myself and see what's working, watch it back, do it again, give myself notes, do it again until I like what I see, and then do that in the audition room, so you know exactly what you're giving them, and so that you can take direction when they tell you to do something else if they do that. So that's pretty technical, but those are probably the big ones.
Man, Sam, I want to say thank you again for that information. Everyone that's listening right now, Sam just gave great information. I want you to take it, run with it. Like you said, don't consume yourself 100% into the movie. Do something also on the side that won't drain your mind all the time just dealing with acting. Sam, it was a pleasure for you coming on the show. You helped me close out season 2 of my show. Season 3 is actually starting in March. We did close it with a bang. Sam, I would love for you to be a guest on my show again in the future.
Yeah, that'd be great. I had a blast.
Thank you, Sam. Guys, you heard it here first on the Big Scoop with Coop. Until next time, everybody, Sam, once again, thank you, and I hope you have a great day.
Thank you so much, Coop.
All right.